Well, we made a lot of changes this season. We had 3 pieces of equipment to start the season. We now have 1. Well, as far as mowing equipment goes, we had the Cub, we had the Rogue, and we had the Hustler Surfer 34 Pro. And those were nothing wrong with any of those mowers. I went ahead and I took the Rogue, I traded it down, and I picked up this. That's a 2025 Badboy Revolt 36-inch. I can tell you straight away, I've mowed about 12 lawns with it so far. I like it. I don't like it. I love it, actually. I would probably change only one thing on this. Literally one thing. That right there is the worst thing for a slightly uneven lawn. You have to be remembering to pick up your deck. Beyond that, super rugged, super heavy duty, super heavy beefy. I didn't want to get the residential model because the residential model as well, it doesn't have the nicer transmissions. So, but we've got a way to lock her in, lock her down. She only weighs about 800 pounds. So it's really lightweight by comparison to the Rogue, which was like closer to 15 if I'm not mistaken. You can see our little chute mod working to perfection there. That's just perfect. That's the way you love it. This chute, love it. This is great. This is the best chute out there as far as I'm concerned. I mean, I know they have pneumatic chutes, but for the value, the price, that's great right there. So that's it. We have 1 piece of equipment. This is what we've worked with the last 2 weeks. And honestly, it's been a game changer. I can get into everything but one gate. And that was with the original setup. Now that I actually have this in place, I can actually get in that gate. I was just missing it by like an inch. So some tilt trailer changes. We do have some additional weights bolted on back here, lock washered in, just to keep the trailer down. We do have a much stronger arm underneath the hold. I just wanted that just to help ballast for the wind, because I just didn't want that to have to hold everything. And is it on this side? No, it's on the other side. I'm sorry. So this is actually for like a Ford Excursion. So it's used to holding up pretty heavy weight. Everything else in the back here is still the same. Kind of forgive the mess, but it's all the same. I've got the M18 batteries charging. We're doing the edging here. We've got our 2 battery string trimmer here. We've got our supercharger with our 2 spare batteries. These are 12 amp hour batteries. I have 5 12 amp hour batteries. They get me through a day. I have 1 8 amp hour, one 8 amp hour, 1 6 amp hour as well. And it's kind of the backup I use for the edger. I try to use the 8s and the 12s for the blower and the string trimmer. This string trimmer is all you'll need. This is perfect. This is just beautiful. I did an apartment complex last year, as many of you know, and this string trimmer right here, I got this in July when the other string trimmer was getting hot. The 1 motor Milwaukee utility one was getting hot, and it was shutting down after 30 minutes, 35 minutes. Not a problem now. Because the 2 battery system, that even in the most extreme heat, that thing kicks. It's instant torque, it's instant power, it's instant slap, and everything goes down. We're using the hybrid gold from Ballard this season again. I was going to look at some other blades, but honestly those worked really well for me, so I'm going to stick with them. besides that, I mean, really haven't made any other changes. We're still pulling it with the Bolt EV. So we're saving at the pump a lot, at the very least. Yeah, I mean, well, you know, let me just show you inside here, because I also have other stuff. So that's where I keep the chemicals, fertilizers, etc. And I only have a very few amount of lawns that I do that with. I've got my hedge trimmer there, my backup Gatorade, because you never know. Backup gas can. The Revolt's got a 6.5 gallon gas can. You're very seldom going to need to borrow gas, before you or fill up again for fuel before you end your day, unless you're doing like 12 to 15 lawns maybe. It's fairly fuel efficient. Got the sprayer over there. We got the EcoFlow. We got the Igloo. It's not a 2500 Ram with a 16-foot, dovetail behind it, but, it works. So, I was also amazed because of the size of it, which is great. I was going to have to get a different storage building for the Rogue, but I actually don't have to now, because the storage building I have here holds it just fine. In fact, I was just working on it in here the other day while it was storming. It was just pouring rain. And last season, I couldn't fit the Rogue in here to work on it, because this is just like a 10 by 10, and that Rogue was so wide, and I've got stuff in here also. So it wasn't really feasible. This is actually feasible now, because that 36 inch is much lighter. It's easier to hop up. So in my opinion, what do you really need? While I'm tripping and falling on my own feet here, you really need a 34 to a 36 inch stand on. Whoever you want to go with, your choice. I'd recommend Buy American. I'd also recommend Buy Badboy. When I had trouble with my Rogue last year, my dealer was great with me. I've gotten great service from these fellows. I wouldn't wear their hat if I didn't. That's why when I went back there, they made me a stinking deal on this thing too. Next year, not next year, year after next, we'll probably buy a larger mower and get a spare stand on. That way, if this one does falter at some point, I can be down a season without it, and the dealer can get it worked in at their leisure, and I'll still have some spare equipment. But yeah, I mean, this thing's been great. A really good cut. I was really coming with the Rogue cut okay. I think the Rogue cut fairly well. It was really hard to tell, because sometimes last year I was cutting in places I really shouldn't have been, at the times I shouldn't have been, like, wet grass and stuff like that, which makes it real difficult to really gauge. But this thing gives a really good cut. I really like the way the deck is set up on this. This is a very specific deck to this thing. So, like whatever Badboy did, kudos, you guys did a great job. I gave up the cup holder for this shoot. There just wasn't enough space to add the cup holder, but I really wasn't that messed up about that. That's not a big deal to me. I didn't really care. And I mean, like I say, if you're a small operator, don't go crazy on equipment. Get one thing that does it all, and does it well. I think the only thing I'll add is probably some twheels. I think it probably should get some twheels. These little mini reapers that they've got on here, I would say I like them, and I also don't like them, because while these are really good for hillsides, they're also really good for rutting, and I don't like that. But you can't have your cake and eat it too. So, get a 34-inch stand on to a 36-inch stand on. Don't buy the Surfer Pro 34. Just don't do that. For $2,000 more, you can get a really, really, really nice mower. Okay, like the Badboy does it really well, in my opinion, for the stand-on game, for what you're getting here. Because, like, man, look, I'm just gonna be real with you. being able to bring this down, the dampening on this, so much better than the Surfer Pros. I did 100 hours on the Surfer Pro last year, and on this thing, it's amazing. I've downsized, and I'm only operating a day or week, 2 days a week. I've had some heart problems, you know, some blood pressure issues and stuff, and I kind of need to get that managed. So that's kind of what I'm in the, you know, I don't want to go out and have, I'm taking like what's basically 3 days of work and like stretching it out over 5 days, rather than like, you know, and I say 3 days of work, I mean, you know, I still have like 10 lawns that I do, but you know, they didn't have anybody else. So like it's like fine. So this thing having cut like 12 times, beautiful, great cuts. The mulching blades from Ballard are perfect for this thing with the chute system. Light, easy to carry, easy to get on and off the trailer. It's just seamless with that tilt trailer. It's on, it's off, it's on, it's off. You know, you unlock it in place, you lock it in place. You know, it's really beautiful. I have to say, man, like, you know, the way we've got this set up this season versus last season, kind of know what you know after a year. So if you're just starting, don't be a fool. You don't have to buy a 48. You don't need a 51 or a 61 or a 72. You need a 36. You got to hit those gates, guys. You got to hit those gates.